right, brother. Start cleaning those tires up. Don't drain this time. Remember, they fan out down there, so protect them bottoms. Sunday drive. All right, boss man. Hey, car's off. Be ready. Right, be ready. Get ready. Green flag. Green.
Welcome, everybody, to the Inside Pass. After taking a week off because we were knee-deep in snow, we are back back in the studio and ready to record another show. I am Randy Miller. Tom Baker is here with us, and once again, conspicuously absent is Noah, and both Peter this time. But I feel like, Tom, we made an upgrade in our co-hosting duties this week.
Well, we traded two co-hosts for a racer co-host.
Somebody who actually drives cars and not just talks about it all the time.
And what's even better for me is it's a JD Motorsports driver.
Exactly.
And everybody at JD knows I'm partial to JD Motorsports drivers. Bayley Curry is with us in studio tonight.
Thanks, Bayley, for coming and joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all for having me on.
So you're happy he's here because he's a JD Motorsports driver. I'm happy he's here because he's a Texas boy like me. So I can't. I have to talk. I wish Noah was here. So that are you a Cowboys fan or no?
Yeah. I
okay.
am.
See, all right, good. So we're not talking about that anymore.
Yeah.
For me, football season ended a week ago, but whatever. But Tom's team is still in the playoffs, though.
No, the Chargers never made the playoffs.
Right. Oh,
but that's okay. It's been a great playoff. The Patriots and the Bucs both lost. I'm happy. We're good.
We don't have to see Tom Brady in another Super Bowl for a while. So there we go. On today's show, we're going to talk about the rules pack, or I guess kind of the new rule layout that NASCAR came down. They dropped the hammer today, literally and figuratively. So we'll talk about what a penalty would mean, and depending upon what kind of a penalty that you encounter, you could be looking at life not in a NASCAR racetrack. But we'll talk about that later. We also have some more driver announcements that came through today, which we'll talk about. Our buddy Kaz Grala got him a ride.
He did. So
we'll talk about that. Bailey's got a brand new ride with JD Motorsports, so we'll talk to him about that. And Willie Allen's also going to join us later in the show, president at Rackley WAR, who just hired Matt DiBenedetto to drive their truck this year. So always good to talk to some of the people who are sitting behind the desk and drawing pen to paper and getting deals made in our sport. And we're happy for Matty D because he's a great friend of the show's, and we're happy that he's landing on his feet. So we'll talk to Willie about that later in the show. We are going to step aside first and take our first break. Our show presented by MyComputerCareer.edu, training for a better life, and we'll kick off the show right after these words.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer that fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car?
I don't know. It won't start.
How are we getting home?
Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family-owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Hey, I'm Howie DiSavino, and you are listening to The Inside Pass.
Welcome back to The Inside Pass. Randy Miller, Tom Baker sitting here with you, and Bayley Curry is our guest co-host for the evening as Noah and Peter take a week off. They should be back next week, hopefully. And hopefully everybody will be back together again. It's been a while since we've had everybody in the studio. I think we've only done one show this year. We've had all of us here, so it'd be nice to have us all back in the studio again.
I think we've only done one show this year. Because we were
Thanks for killing my mood. I was trying to be positive, but
well, we got iced out last week.
It doesn't snow in Charlotte.
Yeah.
We've gotten 5 inches of snow in a week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so NASCAR kind of decided that they were going to kind of restructure their penalty thing, their L1, L2, L3 penalties this week, today actually, as we record the show. And so if you want to be simplistic about it, I guess, level 1 would be like a slap on the wrist. Level 2 would kind of be like you're grounded, and then level 3 would be like move out of my house, basically. if you're gonna look at it as simplicity wise, that's pretty short. So an L1 penalty is usually something simple, like little rules infractions, things like, I guess missing a driver's meeting, things like that.
Well, here's what they say. Post-race failure to meet minimum weight requirements.
Okay.
Team source parts not meeting the NASCAR rules, but not rising to a higher level penalty.
Okay.
And failures in the submission and approval process of parts. So that's your L1. Okay. And L2 would be modifications to single source next gen parts, not rising to L3 level infractions. So if you just kind of make a minor
you tweak
change.
it, but you don't change it.
Yeah, violations of engine seal requirements, that's an L2. Unapproved alterations to the engine control system wiring or use of unapproved onboard electronics, that is all L2. Now, when we get to L3, this is where they're getting serious.
This is where you move out of the house.
Counterfeiting or modifying single source next gen parts. Engine infractions such as cubic inch displacement, compression ratio, assembly and internal components, and performance enhancements like nitrous oxide or vacuum leaks, ECU or electronic fuel injection violations, modifying tires and or fuel, violations of the private team testing policy. Now, the penalties options, these are the options for basically discipline for L3 penalties. Point deductions of 120 to 180 points, playoff point deductions of 25 to 50 points, suspension of 1 or 2 crew members for 6 races, fines of $250,000 to $500,000, nullifying postseason eligibility regardless of wins, points, or other qualifying criteria, which means you're out of the playoffs, or a 1-race suspension for the team in the event of repeat high-level violations. NASCAR does not want you to get an L3 penalty.
I don't think any team wants to get an L3 penalty at this point.
Serious.
I mean, that's pretty serious stuff. So one of the things that I heard on the way here was Sirius XM talking about the rule basically around a 1-race suspension and how there's nothing really in the verbiage that says whether or not, like, you would show up to the track at, say, Atlanta after having an L3 penalty last week and they just tell you you're not allowed in the gate, turn around and go home, versus going through all of the pre-race, practice, qualifying, all that, then finding the penalty like during pre-race inspection or whatever and telling you, okay, pack your stuff and go home. Because now we're looking at, like, in years past, they would just find another driver to replace you, but now everybody goes home, not just the driver. We're talking team, crew, sponsor, hauler, plane, everything, go home, get off the property. and that's a stiff penalty. I don't think anybody in their right mind would want to try to do this, but something tells me somewhere along the way somebody might want to try to figure out what they can and can't get away with, and I feel like they're going to lose their job and probably never be hired anywhere in NASCAR again.
It's, I'm glad they're doing this because how many cars do you see that can't pass tech 3 times?
How many times has Chase been penalized in the last year?
He's not the only one.
Well, no, I know, but his name comes up more than everybody else's.
This, I think you need to make, and this is the way I feel about crime in general, you need to make the risk not worth the reward.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And the more severe the punishment, the less you're going to do the crime. So I think these guys, and remember, these are basically spec cars with spec parts and all of that. NASCAR doesn't want any funny business, and I think it's good that they're being serious. I don't know, Bayley, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, and it's something I think they should have already done, really, because all those things you listed in the L3 category have kind of been done before. I mean, I know y'all laughed at nitrous, but if you hear the whispers in the garage, it has been done before.
Like a Waltrip jet fuel.
The counterfeiting parts, I don't remember who it was a couple of years ago, had the spoiler that was stamped and everything like it was the spoiler they're supposed to run, and then they found out later that, it's got the stamp on it, it's got everything else about it, but it might be moved to the right a little bit compared to the other guys out there. So I think it's definitely something that should be done. I think it's crazy that you could get suspended for a race. I don't know when the last time that's happened. The $250,000 fine. I think it happened to somebody a long time ago, I think. But yeah, I think the playoff eligibility too. It'll definitely keep people from ever wanting to try or ever do anything like that. So
could you imagine going into the 500, let's say, and you have an L3 penalty coming out of the 500 and get disqualified from eligibility for the playoffs the entire season?
Well, I mean, imagine a $250,000 fine.
Well,
Not every team can
exactly.
afford that.
Right,
I mean, that's
right. But I mean, having to go 35 races, and it doesn't matter what you do, you can win every race from here on out, but you won't be eligible for the playoffs because of it. So.
I just think that there's way too many teams at a lot of the races that just can't pass tech. Teams just push that discotheque right to the limit, and I get it, but it's like, guys, you're just wasting everybody's time. Mm-hmm. Get it right. I mean, it's just, I think we need to, and of course, this really doesn't apply to that necessarily, but nonetheless, I mean, I just think, you need to get everybody on an even playing field because and I know that, back in the days, you had all these, people would do whatever, and it's like, well, that's fine, but this isn't back in the day. It's
there's a
different
rule book now.
Yeah,
there's a legit rule book now. So.
And it's too expensive not to toe the line at this point. It's not like you're building your own car from scratch and trying to do whatever. So
well, and I mean, it's funny because we laugh about the nitrous oxide and we laugh about the counterfeit parts, but I was always taught at a young age that rules are made because that said rule was broken somewhere along the way. So somewhere in the last 65 years or 70 years of NASCAR, somebody had nitrous oxide at the racetrack, and they're like, you know what, we probably need to do a rule about that because it's probably not good.
Well, see, the greatest honor is when you get, and it doesn't have to be literal, but the greatest honor is when you know that rule
exists because of you. That's exactly right. Exactly. It's like, I know it's a bad thing to think about, but I'm the reason why that rule exists.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the other big things that happened this past week is Marcus Smith and the guys at SMI have kind of showed some renderings of what they want North Wilkesboro to look like, probably in the next year or so, as part of the stimulus package that Governor Cooper signed and the government gave the state of North Carolina. Some of the money went to some of the tracks to kind of help them out in their bid to redesign and reconfigure some of these tracks. North Wilkesboro got $4 or $5 million out of this. 18 million of it?
18,
okay, well, there you go. So the renderings look beautiful, fantastically beautiful. And there's already talk, Marcus, saying that he thinks that they very well could at least add the trucks probably next year, maybe even the Xfinity Series, but they're going to kind of take it in steps and see how things go. They're going to do trucks first, and if they get good positive feedback, then they might add the Xfinity Series and so on.
Well, they're talking about concerts.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, and they really need, to me, I think they need to do more short track shows. That area needs to be built back up again. And again, I was one person who said that track will never come back. It's done. I mean, and I don't believe $18 million will fix it. I think that's just going to help.
Right.
I think it's going to take at least double that. But they're going to try to keep a lot of the sort of historical look and yet obviously modernize it. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into modernizing a track, like Wi-Fi and all that kind of thing. But, I'm just, hey, it would be great to see racing back at North of Wilkesboro. We need short tracks. So I think that'd be great.
Couldn't agree more.
Wi-Fi is probably the least of their worries because it's out in the sticks. So I don't think there's enough Wi-Fi in this world to get cell phones to work.
They need to, obviously.
Well, I know, but you could go to Charlotte Motor Speedway and your internet not work. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's a place on Talladega Speedway property where your phone will work.
Exactly. So
it's crazy.
It's crazy, but they look great. The pictures are amazing.
Yes.
And I think we're all looking forward to the day
Go
when we
Marcus.
can see any kind of NASCAR, type of racing series back at North Wilkesboro for sure.
A lot of volunteer help to clean up the place. That's really made a difference.
He goes by the name of Dylan Hood Jr. So anyway, we're going to step aside and take a break. We've got more news on the way. Willie Allen going to call us here in the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to Bayley as well, and we will do that when we come back. More Inside Pass right around the turn. Stick with us.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer to fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
He wanted to be known for doing his best.
You're right.
His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player.
Strike two.
He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
I'm at the NASCAR epicenter Daytona 500 Grand Marshal Track House representing. Cones at the stage. I'm in the suite next to the greatest of all time, baby MJ. Blake Shelton to McGraw, so in love.
Noah Lewis bringing us back. I'm just kidding. That's Pitbull. Normally it would be Noah because he would scream over top of Pitbull.
Noah Oki.
Noah Oki, yes. Welcome back to the show. Randy Miller, Tom Baker with you. Noah and Peter are not here this week. They'll be back next week. But Bayley Curry is nice enough to come in and was supposed to be here last week, but the Snow decided to win. But that's okay. So he's there this week to help us co-host. Willie Allen will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to him about Rackley WAR Racing and their new driver, Matt DiBenedetto. So Roar at the 24. This is a new concept that they did this year to kind of set the pole and set the field for the Rolex 24. Kind of a new idea. But before all of that there's a whole big week full of it's a whole month full of racing, really. If you think about all the other divisions that are down there, World of Outlaws and
called Speed Weeks,
late models, and then all run in Volusia County, and then you got the
sprint cars, legends cars. You got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you got IMSA down there, and you got the Michelin Pilot Series, which a lot of NASCAR guys going to be in that, and girls going to be in that series.
Yeah.
Running that race, Austin Cindric and Harrison Burton are going to be on one team, and then Chase Briscoe and Haley Deegan are going to be on another team running that challenge car race. I think it's Friday or Saturday this week before the Rolex 24 starts.
I can't remember.
So I think it's Friday because the Rolex would start on Saturday and on Sunday. So
yeah.
Lots of flair down there. They're trying to get seat time. It basically is what it's all about.
Yep.
Just trying to get seat time. After last year running a bunch of the road course races and having a bunch of new road courses on the circuit, those guys and girls decided they needed a little bit more seat time to get used to the sports car type of car, because the new car, everybody says, is like a sports car. So it's probably more comparable to what they're going to be driving in the next gen cars this year than the cars they had in previous years.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's basically an Australian supercar for the most part.
Right.
I mean, obviously there's some differences, but not a ton of differences. So yeah, that's now Bailey. How much road course experience do you have, and how do you enjoy the road courses?
I love road course racing. Honestly, I got my start racing on road courses and go-karts.
Oh, okay.
Ran a couple of years of that before I got into the Bandoleros, but I've always enjoyed it. I think running the Xfinity cars, or really any of the NASCAR stock car type cars on a road course, is just a blast. And same goes for Daytona road course, where they're running the 24. I got to run the Xfinity car there twice, and I filled in for J.J. Yaley there in the Cup car one year. So definitely fun place. Being able to throw around a big heavy car like that on a road course is just always going to be fun.
Do you have a favorite road course?
I'm partial to Coda because I grew up 20 minutes from there.
Exactly.
But
I knew you'd say that.
It's an
I really like Watkins Glen, just because it's so simple, super fast. Like, all the corners are fast. Flying up to the S's with the walls on both sides is a good time. Scary but fun. So. Yeah.
I think sim racing wise, I think Watkins Glen is probably my favorite. Just NASCAR video game, because it's easy to pick up, it's easy to learn. Watkins Glen more so than Road America or Mid Ohio or any of those other finesse tracks is what I call them.
Watkins Glen is basically a super speedway road course. I just wish they'd run the boot. I really hate that they're not running. NASCAR doesn't run the boot up there. I wish they would run the full course, but it's fun, and I think Coda is a great course, and I can't wait to see everybody back there again this year after last year. Way too much rain. Hopefully it's just dry all weekend.
I didn't mind the rain too much. Racing in the rain is quite a bit of fun. I ran the truck race, and I feel like it was raining just as hard as it was in the Cup race, and it was definitely hard to see. What they were saying wasn't false, so I thought it was fun. I remember a funny thing in qualifying. It was raining so much it was filling up the floorboard on the right side, and when I go down in turn 12 at the end of that long straightaway, all the water would rush up and then go up the firewall and hit the windshield like a big wave.
Wow.
Pretty awesome. Just weird thing you notice when you're driving 180 miles an hour, I guess.
Trucks are a slightly higher center of gravity than the Cup cars, though. Those Cup cars weren't built to handle. Now, this year's Cup car, I think, will be more.
Oh, I think it'll.
It's a sports car, so it'll be more amenable to rain racing. But it's a nice course there.
I can imagine it's like a heated spa on that side with all the exhaust.
It was boiling the water over there.
Boiling the water. You come in for a pit stop. Back. I'm a flip flops on a beach ball. What for? Don't ask questions. Just give me what I want. My Slurpee and my cup.
Driving around listening to Margaritaville.
Yeah. Anyway,
Crazy.
Well, speaking of the truck series, Bailey's graduating from trucks into the Xfinity series. We'll talk about Xfinity series here in a little bit, but we'll do like a full preview of the entire season when the two boys get back in a couple of weeks. But I just wanted to get your thoughts, Tom and Bailey. You can weigh in too. If there's any particular driver or team that we should watch out for this year in the truck series.
Oh, in the truck series. Yeah. You were talking about Xfinity for a minute.
So the transition word.
Gosh, I'm going to tell you. I think that Hattori is going to be a team to look out for. I think you got Tyler Ankrum over there and Chase Purdy. Mm-hmm. Those two are great friends. They're both very talented young racers who I feel like last year at GMS And Tyler really both years at GMS just never quite got totally comfortable.
Right.
And there were just so many trucks that GMS had last year. Now there's two at Hattori, and it's just the two of them. And Chase is loaded for bear. We had him on recently, and he is expecting to go out and contend for a championship, and that's what he wants to do. And I think he can, and I think Tyler will be much better off back in the Toyota. And nothing against GMS, but I just think the two-car team favors those two, and both of them are extremely talented. That truck series, every year we say this, but I feel like this year, really, the way everybody's kind of spread out and some of the new talent and new teams, it is going to be probably the most competitive year of truck series racing we may have ever had.
Yeah, I agree. Bailey, do you have any
No,
thoughts?
I definitely agree, too. I think the two obvious answers, I feel like, are your Grant Enfinger and John Hunter are going to be they're going to be stars all year. I think Carson Hocevar being back with Nice, coming for a second year, will be really good. I'm partial to Nice. They give me a few rides here and there, so I think they'll be really good again. And yeah, like I said, there's two obvious answers that pop up in my mind when I think competitiveness. I think John Hunter and I think Grant going over to GMS can be big.
And Zane Smith going over
That's right.
to race the 38 truck for Front Row Motorsports is going to be very tough as well, I think. Again, over from GMS.
I think John Hunter Nemechek is going to be one to watch just because
Of
he's
course.
obviously hungry. If you have to, having lost out on the championship on the third lap of the Phoenix race, he's going to be hungry to prove himself. But I think if you look at GMS, I think the best thing for GMS to do is to go from 18 trucks down to I mean,
like it.
whatever, but going down to 2 trucks. And having Grant Enfinger, signing a guy like him, a championship caliber driver, with a young rookie in Jack Wood, I can tell how hungry Jack is to succeed. He really is focused, and he's one of those kids that soaks up stuff like a sponge. And I think having a teammate like Grant Enfinger and only having those two guys in the garage, but then even back at the shop, you've got Eric Jones and Ty Dillon there now too, and having them all under one umbrella, I think is going to make Jack better as a rookie, but Grant better as a truck series driver too.
Well, and we mentioned John Hunter, but he's got a teammate over there at KBM that is long overdue.
He's got
for
momentum.
A breakout season, Chandler Smith.
And he's got momentum, having coming off the win at Phoenix and the Snowball Derby as well too. He's going to be hungry for wins too, but I'm kind of like you with the Hattori thing. I think having Chase and Tyler together on that team, having the two kids on there, and even the Rackley WAR team signing Matt DiBenedetto. I'm partial to Matt. He's a great friend of the show and a good friend of ours.
That's a fast
and
truck too.
I think that him going into that team, and we talk about it all the time when we talk about fairly new teams or fairly I guess young teams out there. They always seem to find different drivers. Look at what happened with Jordan Anderson. Last year with the Xfinity car, he had all these different drivers run it, and every week it got better and better and better. Yeah. And it got to be a pretty competitive ride toward the end of the season because all these guys come in with experience, and they run a race or two in the car, and they go back to the shop and go, hey, this is just my opinion, but this is what I think you should do. And they take those notes and they make those changes, and the next week it gets a little faster and a little faster and a little faster. And I think that's the same thing we're going to see with the Rackley team. Matt DiBenedetto, he's only 30 years old, but he's got 15 years of racing experience under his belt, and he's going to be hungry to prove himself. And almost like career reset almost for him. So he's going to be hungry to prove himself by going back to the truck series and saying, you know what, I'm going to prove to you why I should have never left Cup in the first place.
Well, and don't forget, you got Ryan Preece running a few truck races again,
exactly.
too. And we all saw what he did in a couple of limited starts last year with DGR.
Got a win, got a W under his belt.
Did.
So, but speaking of kind of career reassurance, I guess we can kind of bring Bailey on too at the same point because Bailey, last year you ran trucks for most of the season. You ran some Xfinity races too. But I think when you really started getting into the and I say better quality rides for quote unquote, but you got into the faster rides and started running up front, and people were like, "Who's Bayley Curry?" He's like, "I've been in racing for 15 years. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Where have I been?" But you got your name out there, and now you're, I feel like, in probably one of the most competitive, underfunded teams out there because JD Motorsports has come from a 25th to 30th place team to a top 15, top 10 team in the last 5 years with guys like Ross Chastain and Landon Castle and guys like that, and you're in the house car. I feel like the 4 car is the house car at JD Motorsports, and so you're like the head of the class now over there.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped to get the season started. I got to run a handful of races with JD last year, and I knew right from then that if we could put something together for this year, it'd be a really, really good year. And I'm just excited to get started. Actually, I drove from the shop straight here, and I was working on the race cars all day, and we're about ready to. They're about all locked and loaded. So
awesome.
See, that's what I like about JD, that group there, because I know Ryan Vargas works hard on the stuff, and you're working on the trucks. It's a small group of people that do very big things. I feel like JD gets more out of a dollar than anybody else I know, and he's one of the nicest guys that you'll meet in the garage area. I always love seeing those cars go fast and do well, and I think you've got a nice group there this year with you and Ryan. And who else is
right now it's just me and Ryan.
Okay.
So
all right, just the two of you. Wow. All right. So that would obviously be better for both of you, just all the resources for less cars, right?
I feel like you appreciate the work more when you're the one doing all the work on the car. Like you can't really,
definitely
get into the top 10 or whatever. You're like, I'm the one that, put the engine bolt on that car. Whatever, You know what I mean? Like, it makes you feel a lot better about the work because you're the one that put in all the work during the week to make it happen. So we are going to step aside here and take a break. Willie Allen should be joining us here on the other side of the break. We'll talk to him about the Rackley WAR team, and we'll have more with Bayley, too. We'll be back more right after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes. On Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
He wanted to be known for doing his best.
Sure, right.
His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player.
Strike two.
He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
When Marlon Shirley was 5 years old, he was in an accident and lost his foot, but he didn't lose his heart.
When you tackle a challenge that you just cannot even fathom tackling, when you accomplish that, the amount of integrity and the will and the heart that you'll get from that experience is what will set you up for your life.
In less time than it took Marlon Shirley to say that, he can now run 100 meters because today he's the world's fastest amputee. Overcome it. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Hey everybody, this is Larry McReynolds with NASCAR on Fox, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass. Brendan Miller, Tom Baker here with you. The boys are off this week, but they will be back next week. But we've upgraded our co-hosting panel and added Bayley Curry instead. So if Bayley continues doing what he's doing, the boys may never come back. Bayley will be here permanently.
There we go.
Because I make those decisions. Well, let's go to the phone line and bring on our phone guest for the night. He is the president of Rackley WAR Racing in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Willie Allen is on the Inside Pass. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for taking some time out to join us tonight.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me on.
You are very welcome. I want to be the first to say thank you for hiring Matt DiBenedetto to drive your truck this year. Matt is a very, very good friend of the show, and I wish he could be here tonight, but apparently he's got a podcast of his own to do, whatever. But that's fine. I'll get him back eventually. I'll get him back eventually. Eventually he will be on. But you couldn't. I don't think you could have picked a better free agent driver that is motivated enough to go out there and show what he can do, and I think he's going to do wonders for that team this year.
Oh yeah, we're very excited. I think he's going to be a great fit for our team. He's definitely motivated and fired up, big time, and we're ready to watch him kick some butt for sure.
I would be afraid to get him too riled up. He is a very big boy, and he may hurt you. Just for the record, he can bench like 16,000 pounds. So very careful about getting him too riled up. He will destroy your office and not even mean to do it.
No doubt, he's a big boy for sure, man.
And apparently he's got guns now too, because he's posting pictures on Facebook.
Oh really? I haven't seen those.
A dangerous man with a gun. Whatever. Anyway.
Matt, what does it mean to you guys to have a driver of the caliber of Matt DiBenedetto come over and race for you? And I had to laugh when I saw that they had him designated as a rookie in the Truck Series. That just doesn't look right.
That's hilarious. We're super fired up. We've had some awesome drivers. We had Josh Berry last year, and he's driving a late model this year, and got Matt going in. I think it says a lot for our program. I feel like everyone knows what type of program we're trying to put together. My partner Curtis and I, when we started this deal, we had one thing in mind was to win races and build the best possible team that we could build, hands down. We're not here to ride around or just out there to make money on. We're here to win races. That we're both super passionate about it, and we're going to keep plugging along till we get there. And I feel like we got a great chance this year to win some races and be a contender for sure. I
remember when you used to race a while back. We used to live in Memphis back 15 years or so ago, and remember, I think, Nashville a couple times. I watched you and we talked, but you had a racing career of your own. What made you decide to just kind of become a team owner and start doing all of this development that you do with the late models and now the truck team?
I enjoy driving, but I enjoy the tech side, the technical side, and setup stuff, and data acquisition, and the engineering side of it probably as much. I do like driving part-time. I don't know if I'd ever want to do it again full-time. I do like playing around with late models, the super late models, stuff like that, too. And drive when I can, but as far as a full-time deal, I don't think I could do it, especially at our own team. It's just too much to drive and try to wear the owner's hat and kind of manage the team. It's just too much for sure. And I think it's just hard when you get wrapped up. When you're a driver, you're a driver. You're all in. You're working out. You're iRacing 24/7. You're watching videos, game tapes, and just trying to be the best you can. And when you're an owner, it's always something going on. You're always trying to make the guys better, motivate them, the pit crew, everything. So it's just tough doing both, and like I said, I definitely enjoy what I'm getting to do and what I'm kind of my role in this, and look forward to continue to build the team.
You've got a young driver named Jake Bowman, I think, that's going to be racing a bit for you this year with the late model, and I know about Jake from out west, and just a talented young racer. It's good to see your team building up and adding more talent to the roster. And what else have you got planned other than just the Truck Series with Matt, of course, but then and Jake running some I think pro late models, right? What else have you got?
Yeah, we got Jake Bowman. He's running full-time at Nashville and then traveling some travel races. Yeah. So he's pretty much running the full-time pro deal along with Cole Williams. He's running the full-time pro deal.
Yeah.
Yep. An awesome driver. He won the last race for us at Nashville, the pro portion of the All-American. Josh Berry's running this weekend at Cordell Speed Fest. Cole and Jake. Then we're going to have Blaine Rocha run some super races for us. So really kind of filling all the big events in our super and pro stuff, So really excited about that as well as the Truck Series,
So we were talking earlier about, when kind of new teams. I mean, the Rackley WAR team's still a fairly new team out there. And in the last couple of years, you guys have brought in a lot of hard-hitting guys just to kind of, sit in the truck and kind of tell you guys what they feel behind the wheel of the truck. So you had guys like William Byron and Josh Berry and Timothy Peters behind the wheel of that truck in recent years. How much does that really help you guys, having these guys who have all this experience come back to the truck series and just to sit in that truck for a week or two and just kind of tell you guys what they feel, what they see, and just kind of give you guys a perspective from their end on what some things you guys could do better in the shop to make the truck faster?
A lot. Brett Moffitt come in there too at Vegas this year.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know till you get out there, and it's definitely big. When you have those guys. Rudy Fugel actually came in and helped last year.
Oh, wow.
When William drove and just being a part of our deal. So having all those guys, we're, one thing that we're definitely blessed with is a bunch of low ego guys that just want to do better and win races. So anytime we get, some people with experience to come in and help gain our, program, we definitely welcome it and appreciate it. It's been a big help. And looking forward to it with Matt. I think he definitely will come in and help Chad and Kendrick and the guys, to see what we need and continue to adjust and try to give him the best truck we can.
That sounds a lot like the colleague team. Like when Chris Rice, when he first started the colleague team, that's basically, he said the exact same thing. I want to build a team that's positive all the time, low ego, just go in there and be positive all the time. And I think from where he started to where they are now is night and day different. I mean, that team is now one of the top tier teams in the sport. And just hearing you say, that's the kind of team and organization that you want to build reminds me a lot of where Chris started. And it gives me a good vibe that this Rackley WAR team is going to be a very hard hitting team, not only this year with Matt, but in years to come.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's what we're trying to build. Like I said, we got a great group of guys, that's like family and close friends here, a very tight-knit crew, and, we're trying to build. We definitely want to be a 2 or 3 truck team in the near future. We'll probably do a second truck a few times this year. Maybe we'll bring some of our late model guys that comes in and kind of dips their toe in the truck world a little bit and kind of see, kind of lead into next year. But we're definitely excited about the future for sure.
Well, we got Bayley Curry in the studio with us. I don't know what. Sure, Bayley could be available for a truck race.
I'm always available, man.
That's right.
Heck yeah.
So we'll get you two guys together. But you've done a great job of building it, and it's got to be. It's not easy to field a NASCAR Truck Series team, and I'm curious, how did you and Matt get together?
Actually, my partner Curtis, he reached out to him during the fall, and just kind of, I think I got his number from our spotter last year or something, and Curtis said something about him, like, hey, just let's call him, text him, see what's going on, and we just kind of talked to him, in the fall, and we kind of let him know kind of our core values and what we were trying to build here. And just kind of one thing led to another. We stayed in touch and kept talking, and all become good friends. And I think he sees what we're trying to do and knows how hard we're working here to build the best team possible, and he wants to be a part of that. He wants to help build it. I would say from the ground floor, because we already got a good foundation. We can continue to grow it.
Yeah. Now, do you have any desire at some point to expand further up in the NASCAR world into the Xfinity or Cup Series, or are you happy just being a multi-truck team?
I think we're happy, honestly, being a multi-truck team right now. We don't really see any role for us, I guess, to stay in the Xfinity or Cup Series. I think Curtis and I both really like the Truck Series and the late models series, and it just is a good fit for both of them. A good step, the next step.
I almost feel like it's so competitive, just in the last couple of years that everybody wants to be in the Truck Series. Like some of the NASCAR guys are like, I'd go back and run the Truck Series, if it meant that I could mix it up with some of these guys. You have a really good mix of rookies and veterans and, people like, Johnny Sodders of the world that stay in the Truck Series, Matt Crafton, consistently year after year. And I think that mix is what makes it so exciting for the fans and for the drivers to want to do it, because you get the best of both worlds in the Truck Series.
For sure. I think, the motor program, NASCAR's did a phenomenal job on that. I mean, that allows us to be able to do it. And then, what we like about it is you can still, work on your own bodies. We got templates that can still do, some of the work without having all the laser stuff. I think there's still a little bit of gray area there that makes it fun and exciting. We're an alliance with GMS and Mike Beam and those guys over there that give us great bodies and chassis and engineering support. But just being able to do a little bit there is fun, and feels rewarding when you gain something.
So we heard a rumor earlier. We were talking about the potential for the Truck Series to go back to North Wilkesboro. What's your thoughts on going back to a historic track like that?
I think it's freaking awesome. I hope they do that, and of course the fairgrounds speedway in Nashville, of course. Now that one I may have to run a second truck there. That's obviously my favorite track, and then got a billion laps there. So I definitely would. I don't think they can keep me out of a truck for that weekend.
Would that be your Truck Series debut?
What's that?
Would that be your Truck Series debut, or have you run before? I'm just trying to remember that.
No, I ran. I was 07 Rookie of the Year in the Truck Series.
Okay, I thought you had run before it. I just my brain wouldn't let me go back. Okay, yeah, that would be your return to the Truck Series, and your home track. That would be a lot of fun. I am so excited to see the fairgrounds coming back, and I think Nashville has just become just such a great piece of NASCAR's puzzle, and I think that's only going to expand going forward, right?
Oh, for sure. We got such a great fan base here in Middle Tennessee with so many awesome fans, and they support racing so much. If you see the Super Speedway, I mean, it's just an insane crowd is there. The atmosphere's there. The Super Speedway is doing an awesome job, and then the SRX at the fairgrounds last year completely sold out. So, man, just the fans here in Middle Tennessee are ready to support racing. Wherever it is, they're just so fired up and such great supporters in what we do here.
The IndyCar Festival too, that was great. Seeing all that happen. Yeah.
So RackleyWAR.com, that's the name of the website, right? They can go in and check out all the good things that you guys are doing over there on the Truck Series side of things. And Willie, I know that you're in Tennessee, but the next time that you guys are over here in the Charlotte area, you got to come sit in on a show with us and co-host with us. All right.
100%. I can't wait.
Yeah, and bring that Matty guy with you too.
Yeah, tell him to do a best of podcast for a week and come over to our show.
Exactly, come do our show. Exactly right. Willie, best of luck to you guys this year in the Truck Series, man. And I know you guys are going to do great things with Matty D on board. And best of luck to you guys this year.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Willie Allen, everybody, president of Rackley WAR Racing, and their driver Matt DiBenedetto. So I just can't say I can't. I'm just so excited about for Matt.
It's going to be a bit of a renaissance for him in a way to get back to the Truck Series, just have some fun and chase some wins.
That's exactly right. All right, we are going to step aside and take a break. That seems hard to believe.
Yeah.
Our show presented by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. We will be right back.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend Carolina School of Broadcasting. The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider Complete Motorcycle Air Suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider Air Shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider Motorcycle Air Suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Jeff Burton, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass. Randy Miller, Tom Baker here with you. Noah, Peter are off this week because I fired him for a week. Yeah, but they'll be back next week. But Bayley Curry was nice enough to come and join us tonight.
L2 penalty,
and that's a major upgrade from Ren and Stimpy when they're normally here. So anyway, they probably don't even know who Ren and Stimpy are, but they might. I don't know.
No, they're probably not old enough.
Probably not old enough. That was when Nickelodeon was actually good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Xfinity Series did release a bunch of driver names and faces this week. CJ McLaughlin and Kyle C. are going to share some races for RSS, which is Ryan Seek Racing. Ryan Vargas is going to be Bailey's teammate over at JD Motorsports this year, back in the 6 car. Matt Mills is going to run the 5 car for BJ McLeod. Rafael Lassard is going to run some races with SQR Development, which is JC Stout's team. And he running for like governor of New York or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then today, Mayor.
I think it's Mayor.
And then Kaz Gralla was announced today as driving some races for Alpha Prime Racing, which is the Cesar Baccarelli and Tommy John Martin's team. So.
Yes, Cesar Baccarella and Tommy
like
Joe Martins. Yeah,
I tried.
That is, and again, there's a long list of drivers that are going to be running some races for that team. You're going to need a scorecard to keep track of who's in that car this week. And also, this may not be Kaz's last announcement because there's talk that Floyd Mayweather may get his team together in time for the Daytona 500 and put Kaz in the car for that race.
We've been hearing that for about 6 years now, and I haven't ever seen anything about the team other than just that he supposedly bought a chassis from somewhere.
Yeah.
But now he's gonna have to buy a new chassis because we have new cars now. So yes. I don't know where that. Maybe that's what he was waiting for. Was he heard the announcement about the next gen car and thought I'll just wait a year.
Yeah.
And see, but who knows? I mean, they couldn't get any. I said they couldn't get anybody better. A guy like Kaz Gralla, who's gone to just about through every team, I think, in the garage area at this point, at some point in time.
And not because he's not good, just because it's, when you don't bring
Take
a
the
ton of
opportunity
money,
when you get it.
you have to just kind of, you don't get to pick and choose. And I've known Kaz since Bandoleros, and that young man is one of the most talented drivers in the garage. He just needs an opportunity.
Yep, I would hope that the Hot Scream Ice Cream at some point in time could give him a better sponsorship deal, but we'll see what happens. We're going to step aside and take a break. You'll hear from our sponsor, mycomputercareer.edu, right after this. Stick with us.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports Sales Professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hey, this is Jeremy Clements, driver of the number 51, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
What's sad is that the entry is probably, 7, 8 years old, and he's still driving the same car he was driving because it's his car.
It's his car. That's why.
Yeah. Welcome back to the show. Our show, of course, presented by mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life. And I would be remiss if I didn't say welcome officially to our new producer, Dwayne, who is officially our full-time producer now.
Yes,
so
he
he's
is.
graduated a little bit. So thanks, Dwayne, for keeping us on track.
Take the rookie stripe off.
Yep. There you go. All right. So speaking of My Computer Career, Tom has all the information on how you can better your own career if you want to not be like Dwayne or us and do something better with your life.
Well, I mean, there's
nothing better than talking on the radio. I'm just saying, if you don't like doing this, there are other jobs you can do.
So if you're looking for a new career, whether it's your first career, your third career, your fifth career, it doesn't matter. My Computer Career might be your answer. It is IT training, and IT is a field where right now there are over 250,000 vacancies. There is far more demand for good IT programmers than there are supply of said IT programmers. So that favors you, and My Computer Career is an excellent way to get IT training in as little as 4 to 6 months, doing it just 1 to 2 days a week online. You can do it in your jammies. So here's how this works. Go to mycomputercareer.edu, take the free career evaluation. And if you decide to pursue your career, as I said, financial aid is available if you qualify, including the GI Bill. You can train 1 to 2 days a week for 4 to 6 months, and you could be ready to go into the workforce with a brand new career and a better life. And here's the thing. My Computer Career also will work with hundreds of employers on the back end to get you out there and working. So you can't go wrong. They really are more like mentors than anything else. And they are a school that does what they do for all the right reasons. mycomputercareer.edu. It is training for a better life. And oh, by the way, go on over to helpinghands.org. That is a charity that My Computer Career does a lot of work with, works with troops and first responders, does a lot of cool stuff with home makeovers and things. So go check them out. And oh, by the way, follow us on Steering Wheel Nation's social at the Wheel Nation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, at the Wheel Nation. And Randy, it certainly is a packed show tonight.
That is very true, and we will start the second hour of the show. When we come back, we'll talk to Bayley Curry about his career right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
I'm Corey LaJoy, driver of anything I can get my hands on, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Noah's favorite reentry.
Isn't that true of any race car driver, Bailey?
Yeah, that is very true.
You all drive anything you get your hands on.
We just talked about Kaz Gralla has driven just about every car in the garage area, so I'm pretty much that's true to every single driver. Welcome back to the Inside Pass. By the way, if you missed any part of our show with Willie or Bailey or anybody else, you can always stream it on your favorite podcasting websites. You just go to wherever you listen to streaming podcast and search for the Inside Pass, and you will find it there. We usually keep the last couple weeks of shows up because the bandwidth is a lot now that we're on a 2-hour time block, so we actually can only keep 2 shows at a time. But they're all archived, so if you reach out to me, I will send you whatever show you want to listen to from previous episodes.
Well, they're all there on Spotify.
And they're all there on Spotify as well. You can also tune your dial to Sirius XM on the weekends and hear us there, Armed Forces Network, or about 33 AM FM stations somewhere in the United States of America. And you will find our show there, too. While you're on the World Wide Web and you're looking for things to do, go to our website, which is InsidePassLive.com. nice and shiny little website where we put articles up for everybody all week long. It needs to be updated. I'm sorry. And then also. You'll find a list of guests coming up. Next week is not confirmed yet, but in 2 weeks we've got Caleb Costner who's going to come back and co-host with us. Caleb, of course, is a daytime sheriff.
The flying sergeant now.
He's a sergeant now. He got
upgraded to sergeant.
Upgraded. And at nighttime he's a ARCA racer, turned full-time ARCA racer. Yeah. So we'll talk to him about that in a couple of weeks. Then our buddy Nick DeGroot's going to co-host our Daytona preview show with us. The week after that. So, and we've got Eric Jones and Ty Dillon and Grant Enfinger and all the GMS guys and the other 18 people that work in the shop who will be here at some point in time. And if we don't drive Bayley away, he might be back too at some point in time this season. So, speaking of Bayley, we're going to talk to Bayley a little bit. I know you're from Texas, so I had to do a little research because I don't quite remember where Driftwood is, and so I looked for it on a map, and I missed it like seven times because I think it'll fit in this room. If I'm not mistaken.
It's about right. It's like
1.46 square miles, something like
pretty
that.
Small.
Right? It's a pretty small. Are you the only one that lives in?
No, I think the population is somewhere around 400 something.
Oh, okay.
The Salt Licks are pride
friends
and joy.
And family basically is pretty
yeah.
That's one of those where with the last one, when the last person leaves, would you turn off the lights? Kind of.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's one of those small towns where they actually put home of Bayley Curry on there. And everybody's like, yes, I know who that is.
I don't know. I think the Salt Lake barbecue restaurant kind of outshines me. I think when they're full, that is more than the entire population. Of Driftwood,
it's southwest of Austin, right?
Yes, yeah, I guess southwest. I know, yes, definitely south. I don't know.
Texas is a big place. It could be somewhere between.
Yeah, I know. It's about 30 minutes from Austin, about 45 from San Antonio, so
somewhere
like
in there, smack in the middle. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm from Dallas, DFW, so there's nothing small about where I'm from.
No,
nothing except for the trees. That's about the only thing that's small because you can't see them anymore. For all
Why
of
not?
Because of all the buildings that they put. In. They tore them all down to put buildings in place. So how does a South Texas boy get into the world of racing?
Well, I guess like most people, through go-karts. My dad raced when I was young. And he raced out there at what was then called Thunder Hill Raceway. It became Central Texas Speedway and is now closed, unfortunately.
Yep.
But I
remember
great
that.
track.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up watching him out there. Got into go-kart stuff, racing down in New Braunfels, then started doing a little more traveling. Eventually worked my way up through the Bandolero and Legend Car ranks. Raced a lot out here. Then kind of stopped with the traveling because it was getting so expensive. Moved back home, ran some modifieds, late models. And through one of my connections I made in Legends cars, they just called me up and asked me, "Hey, you want to come try this NASCAR stuff?" And I was like, "I guess I might as well give it. I guess I might as well give it a try. We'll see how it works out." So that was in 2017, and was able to sign with Johnny Davis and run this 2022 season full time for them. So.
Well, you skipped a lot of stuff there. You showed up to NASCAR and went ahead 5 years.
Yeah, I guess there's been a lot of.
He sounds like Chase Elliott, but he's not. It's like I just showed up and they're like, all right, your Bayley Curry's here listed pretty much.
So I ran a handful race for DJ Kopp a lot in the truck series. And got an opportunity over with JP Motorsports and needed a driver one weekend. I was actually in the shop working on the truck to go to, I don't know, Iowa the next week or whatever it was, or because New Hampshire was coming up. And he called me Wednesday. He's like, "Hey, get to a stopping point." DJ called me because he was friends with the guy who owned JP.
Okay.
And said, "Hey, get to a stopping point, get your bag, go to the airport." And I was like, "Okay." I got done. I called him. I was on the way home. I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, you're going to go drive their 55 car in New Hampshire this weekend." I was like, "Oh, sweet." Now I'm way more. now I'm not confused and I'm excited. So got to do that. And actually, when I was running for JP, we were at Homestead, and I went and talked to Johnny Davis. That was the first time I ever talked to him, first time I ever met him. And went and talked to him in his trailer, told him, "Hey, I want to drive your car." Obviously, it didn't work out then. I was kind of a lot less known then, and but I always kept that relationship the same. Fun fact, we have the same birthday, October 29th.
There you go.
So we always text each other.
Right there.
Yeah, we always text each other happy birthday every year, and eventually I got a call this year on like a Thursday. Good calls always come late in the week when you're getting to drive, so got a call Thursday. "Hey, can you come drive my car for me in Richmond?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." And snowballed into what we got to now. So,
wow! And now you're a full-time member of JD Motorsports.
Really excited. Yeah, I got a good group over there working with Wayne. We got Wayne the second and Wayne the third. Me working on the race cars. We got a bunch of good guys down there. Real tight-knit group, like you were saying earlier.
It really is.
It's good to get to put my hands on the cars. I take a lot of pride in what I do when I'm building race cars. Me and Wayne, everybody down there. I want it to look nice when I go to the racetrack. I do a lot of interior work, and I take a lot of time doing that because if it's messed up, then I can blame one person, and that's me. So really enjoy doing that stuff. Got a lot of stuff done over this off season. Like I say, from the time we got back from Phoenix, we were working on a Daytona car even before plans were finalized. I was ready to get to work, and it's all worked out.
Well, that's great. I mean, and again, Johnny Davis treats everybody like family.
Yep.
You know, it's just it's a great atmosphere down there. You walk into the shop, and it's not like one of the elite team shops by any means. I mean, it very much is almost like a throwback, you know, to the 80s or 90s before all these garage mahals got built. And, you know, it everybody just really enjoys being a part of it. And like I said, JD gets the most out of $1. And I feel like, you know, the teams, when you have the equipment, you have what you need, the teams really do almost exceed people's expectations.
No, definitely. I think a lot of the teams and stuff now, they have a lot of stuff that, you know, that we don't have, but we have what we need, and we get the most out of what we have. So,
well, I think going back to what we were talking about earlier with getting the opportunities that you needed, I think last season when you ran the Nice truck, those 5 races, and you got those top 20 finishes, I think you finished 12th at Kansas, and you had a 19th place finish at, what was it, Charlotte, I think, at the Charlotte Jet track. I think that's where people really started noticing who Bayley Curry really was. Because when you run out front, obviously the TV sees you, you know, radio picks you up, and they start talking more and more about you, and people are like, who is this Bayley Curry person? I've never seen him before, but you've been around racing for a while. It's just it took you a while before you really started seeing the return investment now that you've had those good quality runs, and now getting this full-time ride with JD Motorsports, who is never underestimate that team or organization, because that team has come a long way in the last 5 years.
No, definitely, and huge thank you to everybody over at Nice Motorsports for giving me those opportunities. Hearing those results kind of sucks, because there was sometimes like the Charlotte race, I know we had a really good run.
You're running in the top 5, I think, for a while.
Yeah, we had a little slip up on a green flag stop, kind of set us back. Final restart at Kansas, I think we were running 3rd, and just didn't time it right, and got jumped on the restart. I think we went 5 wide in turn 1. Ended up 12th, still salvaged something. So, but yeah, big thank you to those guys. Had a lot of fun running those truck races for them. And like I said, just ready to get going with JD. We had some really, really good runs at the end of the year, and I think we can carry that momentum into 2022. So
you're in the 4 car, and Ryan's in what, the 6?
I don't really know the numbers yet, to be honest with you. They haven't really told me. I think I'd be in the 4 car. I'm not positive, but
okay.
We'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess.
It's like it doesn't matter what number you put on it, just put me in the car.
Yeah.
As long as my name's on the driver's side window, I really don't care.
Yeah, it's red right now. They're all red, I can tell you that. There's no numbers on them.
You and Ryan will make great teammates, I know.
No, yeah, really excited to work with him.
If you weren't into iRacing before, you will be shortly. Because he will definitely.
I'll definitely race with him a lot more on iRacing since I've been racing down there. So
he will get you involved in everything he possibly can, because he's all about putting his name out there. He's really like Anthony Alfredo everywhere.
He's a bundle of energy.
Everywhere he could be, he would be, and he's only like 2'9" or something. Like he's super short. And so
yeah, he's about my height.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're gonna step aside, take a break. We'll have more with Bayley. We'll play a little fun game with Bayley here in a little bit too. But we've got some more news. We've got to talk about more of the Instant Pass right after this.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette, it's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer that fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
Hi, this is John Andrasik of Fight for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
When Marlon Shirley was 5 years old, he was in an accident and lost his foot, but he didn't lose his heart.
When you tackle a challenge that you just cannot even fathom tackling, when you accomplish that, the amount of integrity and the will and the heart that you'll get from that experience is what will set you up for your life.
In less time than it took Marlon Shirley to say that, he can now run 100 meters because today he's the world's fastest amputee. Overcome it. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Hello, race fans. This is Chris Wright. Thanks for listening to the Inside Pass.
Speaking of being bad to the bone, Chris Rice bringing us back from break. That team has been all over the news wire lately. They've got all their ducks in a row apparently over there.
Sure do. Well, they got a lot of cars now.
They do have a lot of cars.
It's always something to talk about.
I feel like their press releases are more of just organizational tools that they need to make sure that they don't miss anything. They've went and announced all the races for the 30 with the 16, right? Yeah, because the 31 is Justin. So the 16 car that will run in the Cup Series. I think 24 races, 25 races the team is going to run this year. Yeah. Hemrick is going to do all of the super speedways. AJ is going to run all the road courses, obviously, and then Noah's going to run Atlanta and Las Vegas, his home track, and
Las Vegas.
The other tracks have filled in there. But that's going to be a really good team. So before we talk about the Cup Series side, we'll go back to Xfinity for a second and get everybody's opinion on teams to watch this year. We did it with the Truck Series earlier, and I think we all had a pretty good consensus of drivers, and I'm not going to be biased because Bailey's in front of me, but I feel like the JD Motorsports team is going to be a team to watch this year.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Well, I mean, you're contractually obligated to say that, but aside from all kidding aside, I do feel like that team is going to be better this year because it has seemingly gotten better every year in the last 5 to 6 years.
Well, the thing that's always interesting for me about that team, if you watch them, is especially on like the super speedways and whatever, they kind of just it's sort of like Jeff Gordon could disappear for an entire race, and then the last segment of the race, exactly. All of a sudden he's running for the lead. And you see all of a sudden, and here comes Vargas, or here comes Bailey, or here comes, JD Motorsports, on the mile and a half and bigger. And of course, not to say the short tracks, not so much, but, I just feel like they're good programs. And I feel like top 10, top 15 is very reasonable for both Bailey and Ryan. And with only 2 drivers, you kind of focus the resources on, you're not spread quite as thin. But a team that I'm going to watch this year is Sam Hunt Racing. Because again, you look at the driver lineup over there. You got Jeb Burton over there. You got Anthony Alfredo over there. You got a number of drivers in those cars that are just really talented. And I feel like that team's going to take a step forward. But I mean, how can you not talk about Colleague Racing right now? You got Landon Castle, and you're going to have Daniel Hemrick. And how do you not talk about those 2 guys specifically? And then AJ, that group is going to be a championship chasing group, I think, this year in the Xfinity Series.
And you've got the Penske car who's no longer in the mix. So there's one good quality car that's now gone from the Xfinity Series. But I think for me, you look at RCR and how they got both Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed from the Truck Series as both their drivers this year. And I think both of those guys together is really going to do something. I mean, Sheldon obviously, being a top quality guy in the Truck Series, is really going to make that team really big. There's actually a lot of good quality talent in the Xfinity Series, and we talk about the Truck Series being, this conglomerate of a bunch of different backgrounds and styles. But I mean, if you look at the Xfinity Series roster, it's pretty much the same thing.
It is.
No, I think Xfinity is going to be extremely competitive this year. I'm really excited to see when we especially West Coast Swing. That's when you really know what's what and where people are going to run and stuff. So I think once we get out there, it's going to be really exciting to see. I think even that mid-pack area, the 10th to 20th, I think that's going to be a great race every week. I mean, it always has been. You might not see it, but I think that's going to get even better this year. So.
Well, and for all the drama that's gone on around Brandon Brown, he's got more resources right now going into this season than he's ever had. And that, he was a playoff driver previous. So this may be exactly what Brandon needed to just tip the scale a little bit and, put him in the contender slot. And, and I think we still have a Gibbs car that hasn't been filled yet, though it will probably end up just being an all-star car, I would guess. Mm-hmm. But I think there is still one of the cars that's open that hasn't been filled. But that team would, obviously Ty Gibbs and Brandon Jones, certainly going to be a team to watch as well. And you can never count the Junior Motorsports guys out. You got Josh Berry over there, for a full season this year.
Jordan Anderson's got Myatt Snyder running the full-time schedule.
That's another team, and that's an RCR supported team.
So there's a lot of good quality. I mean, we talk about the Truck Series, but I feel like the Xfinity Series is going to be just as spectacular.
It really is. Yep.
As the Truck Series is. We'll talk about the Cup Series here in a minute as well. There are some news and notes. Smoke is going to be back in the booth, which could be good or bad for Fox. It could be the only race Fox gets to broadcast on National Network TV. Because the first race he's going to run, or the first race he's going to call, is going to be the Clash at the Coliseum, and everybody already thinks that's going to be a cluster. So what better person to put behind the booth than Tony Stewart with the live mic?
Well, and teaming with Clint Boyer.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Poor Mike Joy. He's just it's like just all he'll need to do is just read commercial intros and outros, and just he can sit back and relax and let the other two talk because he probably won't get a word in edgewise.
Go have a sandwich.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what he can do. But Smoke's going to be in the booth for the class as well as the 500. And they're going to apparently have a rotation of different legends and drivers up in the booth since Gordon is getting ready to take his window seat at Hendrick, so he won't be able to be around very much.
No.
But they're going to have a three-man booth. They're just going to have a different rotation of drivers running. So.
I think that'll be fun.
No, I agree. I think
I like the mix.
That'll be good. It'll change up the broadcast every week. So.
Yep. And there's plenty of legends out there that you could get that I think would be very interesting to have. And maybe when we get the kids back next week, we can talk about some ideas who would be good to. But I think there are plenty of guys out there, and then you got guys like Kurt Busch even who've done Truck Series, but I don't think I've ever done a Cup Series race. You could easily, move Kurt over and let him do some. He's really good races.
At it. Even some of the Xfinity guys would be good. To put up in the booth, and like AJ Allmendinger, some guy like that runs the Xfinity Series race.
He could do some good road course broadcast for sure.
For sure, absolutely.
He's not racing.
I guess if he's going to be racing,
I think he's going to race them all. Yeah,
that's true. That is very true. So speaking of legends, we actually inducted 3 of them over the weekend, or this last weekend. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Red Farmer, Mike Stefanik all became members of the NASCAR Hall of Fame on Friday night. All had fantastic speeches. Of course, Mike Stefanik, we lost, 2 years ago now?
I think 2 years ago.
In a plane crash, but his wife was the one that did the acceptance speech on his behalf. For the first time they were allowed to do that. Yep. Did a fantastic job. And, of course, Junior up there thanking Amy for basically keeping him alive. In all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
But a great speech by him. And, of course, Red Farmer, all 92, 97,000-year-old of him.
Really is. Yeah.
Up there acting
90s.
like he's 40, just talking up a storm.
He doesn't look his age.
He doesn't. I want to look half that good when I'm in there.
And for those of you going, well, who's Red Farmer? Red Farmer is basically the last
the original
racing,
NASCAR member.
He is the original Alabama gang.
Yeah.
He was part of that original, and he's still racing dirt late models at his age, and gets inducted. Probably one of the few drivers that have ever gotten inducted into the NASCAR Hall while they were still competing at some level.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, just just one of those fun stories that make motorsports special. I mean, yeah, okay, Tom Brady's in his 40s. Let's see him throw passes for the Bucs when he's 92. You know, I mean, that's not going to happen, right? So that shows you.
There's a sad part of me that feels like there's a small possibility that actually might happen.
But yeah, I mean, that, and again,
see it,
Mike Stefanik, a multi-time NASCAR modified champion, and also Busch North Series. In fact, 2 years in a row, he went back-to-back with both titles. The Busch North is now the ARCA East Series. So Mike is a legend in the sport from the New England area, and somebody I got to see race a number of times growing up in the modifieds, and I love seeing the modified guys get in there because that's NASCAR's oldest touring series, and people tend to forget that's the truth. And you know, those guys back in that day were real racers, man, and you know, short track at its best. So good to see all of those guys get in. And for those who scoff at Junior being in because, well, he doesn't have his dad's stats, he ain't his dad. Okay, go away. Junior has done more for this sport since he's retired, had more of an impact from the grassroots up than probably any other individual alive right now. And so I am a huge proponent that on that alone, Junior gets into the Hall of Fame. I think what he's done is remarkable for the sport.
Yep, you can look at criteria all day long, but I think if you look back at like the 80s, you had, obviously Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt. In the 90s, it was Jeff Gordon. Now you look at, the last probably 20, 30 years, obviously Jimmy Johnson comes to mind. He will be a first round, first name,
ballot,
first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, all those guys that were part of the sport. I pretty much think Dale Jr. is NASCAR to a certain extent because, not only was he having to be thrown into the limelight after his dad's passing, but he, had to embrace it and then end up, being the face of the sport for so many years, not only as a driver, but as an owner, as a commentator, and, everything else. So.
In his 20s, while he was trying to grieve the loss of the sport's basic compass, right? The most popular driver maybe ever outside of Richard. So, I mean, I think, I think that you really have to look at the whole of what Junior's had to deal with and how he doesn't have the greatest stats. Well, look at some of the other people in the Hall. Right. It's not about stats all the time. Stats are empty. It's the impact that you have on people, and certainly Junior has had that. So, I think he's more than earned his right to be in there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess there's an argument that can be said for other people, maybe with the bigger, more titles, more wins, more whatever, going in first.
Put more people in at a time. Only
that
3 is ridiculous.
That I do agree with. If the WWE can put 15 in 1 year, how come NASCAR can't?
They should be putting 2 or 3 legends in a year until they get them all in.
Or even do some sort of a separate ceremony for the milestone legends or whatever, a group of people who go in by themselves that aren't.
It's just sad when a driver passes away who legitimately belongs in there before he gets in there. Buddy Baker is the biggest example of that, and nobody got to really do a proper speech for Buddy. Yep. So I think you need to get more of those guys in, but that doesn't take away the fact that Junior belongs.
Well, it's because you changed the criteria,
Sure.
too little, too late at that point, and now that you've realized you made the mistake, you change the criteria when it's already too late. Yep. So, all right, we're going to step aside and take a break. More news is right around the corner. We'll talk to Bayley Still 2 right after this.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer to fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
I'm Chase Elliott, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
I feel like he was listening to us when we were on commercial break. Chase Elliott bringing us back. We were talking about Hall of Fame entries and guys like Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, and things that they've done for the sport. More so Kyle Larson, just because of what he's done in the last year of turning heads and putting people in seats and buying and selling tickets and merchandise, and people follow him everywhere he goes when he races. So he's done a lot for the sport last year.
I think Kyle is one of those rare, boy, you get a Kyle Larson about once a generation, and he is just special, man. He can drive anything and adapt to it instantly and win with it. He's brought a lot of the dirt track fans back to NASCAR, and I think he's probably the most exciting driver on the track to watch right now. I think everybody, for a while, obviously it was Dale, and then you had Kyle Busch. Everybody, whether you liked him or not, you were keeping your eye on him, and I think that's still true. But boy, Larson is just incredible, Bailey. And you as a racer, you can kind of attest to how difficult it is to do the things Kyle's done: multi-surface, jump in a new car for the first time, win, that kind of thing.
Oh, definitely. And I think, like you said, bringing dirt fans to NASCAR, I think it does the same thing the opposite way, too.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I've paid way more attention to the dirt racing world because he's been over there doing that.
Yep.
And watching those guys, been way more into it, watched a lot more major races than just a Chili Bowl this year. Been watching dirt late models, dirt modifieds, everything. So I think having that, I really think that having NASCAR drivers who have the opportunity and have the means to do it, going and running short track races like that is huge because it brings both communities together, and it sheds light on both sides.
Well, speaking of the Chili Bowl, we haven't talked about that outlet yet because we had a week off.
I think we did mention the first show we had that Tanner Thorson had won, but other than that, we haven't been around much. But there is a story kind of that came out of the Chili Bowl involving Kyle Larson. In an interview that he had given to, I believe it was Adam Stern, one of the people, one of the big top people, broadcast journalist, he talked about how basically he kind of seems to be a little bit annoyed that drivers seem to be watching and fans seem to be watching the monitors more than they watch the actual racing competition. And it kind of brings me to, I do tend to agree with him a little bit, because like you go to Charlotte Motor Speedway or Texas Motor Speedway or anywhere where there's a big giant, basically the entire backstretch billboard that shows the race when the races are going on. And it seems like more and more people just sit and watch the TV, and I'm like, then why are you at the race? Why are you not at home watching it on TV instead of...
Don't tell them that.
They're right in front of you, look down.
Right.
But It does. I mean, and even from a driver's perspective, driving dirt cars, I used to watch the leaderboard all the time, so I guess I kind of know what that is all about. But
I think Kyle was more referring to the drivers that
he
were
was
watching the
in
turn one big screen,
right? Yeah. He was
to see who was going to so they could basically to block or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so now now they're going to move that big screen to turn 2. This is at the Chili Bowl.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to move it to turn 2. Yeah. So they're saying that maybe you could still glance at it, but it's going to be much harder over there.
No, and I feel like on dirt, you're passing on entry a lot. So
Yeah.
if you could look up and see it at the straightaway and you know where they're going, you're cutting off a whole corner.
Which I think is
passing
good.
opportunities.
I think that's more what he was referring to. But that does bring up a good point, though, because in this day and age, even how many people pay attention to their phones during races, and it's kind of just this is where we're at now. Everything, and of course, in a NASCAR race, you can be you have one of the radio things with the leaderboard or whatever, and you're scanning different drivers' channels. I mean, so there's a lot that the fan can do to interact with the event that doesn't just involve staring at the track watching the cars. And to me, I think that's good. In fact, I'm waiting for the time when NASCAR actually allows in-car cameras in all the cars, and people can go search that and watch if you want to watch for your favorite drivers in car. I mean, the technology's here, to do those things, and as much as I'm because I'm old and crotchety now, so I'm anti-technology, right? Because when I started, we didn't even have a computer, right? In '88, I remember the very first Radio Shack, we called them Trash 80s, was the TRS-80, was a DOS-based computer. They were terrible, but it was something to type with, and then you could send your story through a phone line over to the newspaper. But
we have something similar to that on the desk right
now.
Yeah,
yeah, we won't even bother to explain that prop, but. Yeah, I mean, so I think people just have to realize this is where we're at, and there's a whole debate about, does a live stream of the race keep people home from the racetrack? And if somebody wants to answer that question, I would send them to Land of Legends Raceway on Facebook. Go look at it or go to their website, Land of Legends Raceway up in New York, Canandaigua, New York. This track does free live streams every week of their dirt track racing, and they have seen an increase at the ticket gate from people who discovered the track online and the racing was so good that they had to go to the track and watch it. Imagine that concept. Yeah. If your racing's good enough, nobody's staying home. And if they do stay home, they weren't coming to the track anyway. Yeah. I mean, we've gotten to that point, I think, now where, and you can, again, it's great for people like me that are out of the market, can't watch the race in person, but love to watch the racing there. So, I think live streaming's okay. And I think at this point, if you're not streaming as a racetrack, I think you're really missing the boat because people will pay for it if it's a good product.
Well, I know some of the NASCAR drivers have said that they find themselves at Charlotte and Texas when they're going down the back straightaway looking up the screen because it's such a long straightaway.
I definitely do it, but I'm not. I was not on the green,
not staring at it, but just looking up.
Maybe sometimes, like if we're having a bad day and I'm trying to find out where the leaders are, I can usually.
That's interesting.
Like at Texas, the screen is huge. You can just kind of look up. And especially under caution, like if I want to know what happened.
Or at nighttime, when it glows so brightly at nighttime, I bet it's easy to see it going down the back straightaway at night.
Yeah, maybe.
Put up like that.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that. But, it's just, again, it's kind of, it's an interesting situation, the technology now that we have. And, people say, NASCAR is losing ratings. Look, if I'm watching the race on YouTube TV, I don't count in the ratings. And people are interacting with it in so many different ways. Yep. The digital part of it is off the charts, and not just with NASCAR either. Even with a lot of the short track stuff. I mean, the online live streaming and all of that is just it's really revitalized a lot of interest in the sport in a lot of ways that most people who are casual fans would not understand.
That is true. All right, let's play a little game with Bayley. Let's get to know Bayley a little bit more. So. Well, we did this with Jack and almost got him almost ended in a divorce, and he's not even married. But so hopefully we don't have that same problem. But
we won't.
The question we asked him was if you were stranded on a deserted island and could only keep 3 apps on your phone, like not preloaded apps, but apps that you personally put on your phone, what 3 apps would you choose? He said Tinder for the record.
That's,
I mean, if you're on a deserted island, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I agree, and now he knows why he shouldn't have said it.
The question actually was just the 3 apps.
Okay.
It didn't have anything to do with being on an island.
So he wasn't deserted. I guess I can desert you.
You can only keep 3 apps on your phone. Which 3 are you keeping?
Yes.
Twitter, Dirt Tracking, the game.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And Tinder's not a bad call, honestly, if you're not on a deserted island.
And you don't already have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That was Jack's problem, and it got him in trouble. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Is that me?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So let me ask you this: if you could listen to only one song for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Man, that's hard. That's really hard. I'm gonna say. I'm trying to think of like a song I've always listened to. It's always good every time. Still Tippin' by Slim Thug. Being from Texas, that's one of my favorites.
I was about to ask who Slim Thug was, but then our producer, Dwayne, started laughing, and I said, okay, I know what kind of music we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
Fair.
if
from
you-
Texas, and I would have thought country.
Well, yeah,
I would've
but,
thought too, but
Texas hip-hop is very large.
That is very true.
Okay.
And even on the country side of things, there's Texas red dirt country, and then there's actual like country western music. So
Yeah, I, mean,
there's a
I will
whole
say,
nother
and
different-
as far as country goes, like I cannot listen to any new country. I listen to like, if I'm going to listen to country, which is rare, it's like Hank Jr. or Alan Jackson or something like
outlaw
that.
country.
Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
There you go.
country.
Yeah, there you go.
Charlie
All right.
Daniels, Marshall
If-
Tucker.
If you came with a tagline or a warning label, what would it say?
Oh, ooh. A warning label or a tagline. Man, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like tagline. I used to use this hashtag a lot. I used to have helmet will travel.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
Like there's some old Western movies like Have Gun Will Travel or
Right.
something like that. So
Driver, I get my driver, get my hands on anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one. Okay. All right.
Fair enough. Okay, so favorite music. Favorite movie is what I meant to ask.
That's a toss up. I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna say The Big Lebowski or Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay. On pizza, pineapple, no pineapple.
I can go pineapple. I can do a Hawaiian pizza.
Okay. See, I liked you until that moment. Do you have a favorite food overall?
Ooh, probably Mexican food from Texas again. So can't really go. Like you can go anywhere in
Tex-Mex.
Texas. Yeah, and get good Tex-Mex specifically because it is different.
It is, it is very different. You want authentic Mexican food. There's Tex-Mex, and then there's like they came across the border and cooked you a street taco.
Yeah, and there's a
and that's
big
delicious.
difference, and that's also good. But Matt's El Rancho Chuy's in Austin, I'd go there every day if I could.
That even sounds good. So later on, when you retire from the sport, and they decide to make a biopic of your career, who would play you in the biopic?
I don't know. I got to think of someone who's young now, and then will be older. Then,
Well, the magic of Hollywood can change a lot of things. So they may be older later, but then they make you look 23.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who looks like me. I have no idea.
You don't have the iPhone app that tells you who you look like? Because
Well,
there's a new app
since
now.
in the spirit of Big Lebowski, I'm just gonna say Jeff Bridges to try to make him look like me.
I mean,
Now, Jeff
anybody-
Bridges in a racing movie would be interesting.
That's
I
what
feel
I'm
like.
saying.
Yeah. I was going to say Tim McGraw, but of course he'd be really old by that time, probably.
That actually would, I could see that happening too. But he would be like 90.
Yeah.
He'd be like Red Farmer's
Too
age
old.
at that point.
Yeah.
Who were your influences growing up racing?
I'd say my dad a lot. He pretty much taught me everything about driving that I know, or taught me how to learn a lot too, and learn everything I can from the environment when racing. Dale Jr., talked about him earlier. He was always my favorite driver growing up.
There you go.
But yeah, I'd say Dale Jr., my dad. Don't really have too many others. Trying to think of other short track guys that I watched. I could say honestly Daniel Hemrick. I raced with him a lot when I was like 12.
Yep.
So watching him race and stuff, it's always pretty good inspiration. So
Now you're racing against him.
Yeah, it's cool.
And see, the thing that I always have appreciated about you and Daniel is that neither of you came from money. And I'm not one of these spoiler rich kids because I work with a lot of younger drivers, and I know that you can't blame the driver or if they come from money. They still have to drive it and be competitive and win. But I just love the guys like you who really fight and scrap for their role.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And you get to a place like JD who also exemplifies that, right? The working man's race team, and it's always fun to see that happen. So we're definitely happy to have you on the show tonight, and it's great that you're getting the opportunity full time with JD. I think you got some potential to do well here.
Yep, I completely agree. And having Ryan Vargas, now in his second year with the team is going to help things a whole lot as well. So we are going to step aside for the last time and take our final break, and we'll wrap everything up when we come back. It's been I can't believe the show's already gone. It's just amazing that our show goes by so fast when we're having fun. Our show presented by mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life. We'll wrap it up right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses. Because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, my name's Eric Jones, and you're listening to The Inside Path.
So, Randy, I see a note on the run sheet that says F1, and I missed this somehow. F1 has banned flyovers, citing a more economical future.
Yes.
That's kind of an oxymoron with the F1 series, isn't it?
Oh, well,
you got
I kind of thought
$50 million budgets?
Too, but yeah, I mean, apparently part of the initiative going into 2022 is they're trying to make the series more economical, more environmentally friendly, and one of the first things that they did was ban flyovers. So.
Good grief.
Yeah, that's why it's at the bottom of the run sheet, because it's like, all right, that's the announcement. All right, we talked about F1, so you can't say we never talk about anything other than NASCAR.
Well, I mean, I think the world of F1.
We'll have a much
gracious.
bigger preview of the F1 series when we get closer to the beginning.
I just don't get that. That is so silly to me.
NASCAR banned him for a while.
People love flyovers. Why? I mean, is it really that expensive when you get all these worldwide big budgets? Like,
I guess it depends on what country you're in.
I suppose.
But anyway,
interesting.
Bayley, thanks for coming and joining us tonight, man.
Yeah,
it was fun show.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about your future this year, running the JD Motorsports car and that whole team and organization. And you're welcome to come and join us as a host anytime you want.
Bring Ryan Vargas with you.
Yeah,
right, bring them all.
Heck, bring Johnny with you.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
On the show.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
The stories he could tell.
Oh, he's got a million. Great guy, too.
We need more than one show for that one, I feel like.
Yeah.
But in any event, we also thank Willie Allen from Rackley WAR for joining us tonight as well. Again, another team who's excited about having their driver, Matt DiBenedetto, behind the wheel of their truck this year. And so next week, we're going to have a preview of the Demolition Derby known as the Clash at the Coliseum.
Come on.
We think we're going to
give it a chance.
We'll see what happens. We'll see you guys next week on the Inside Pass. The boys hopefully will be back. See you next week. Bye.
You've been listening to the Inside Pass, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. You can be an IT professional in as little as 4 months. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation test today. For more exciting and passionate motorsports content, follow the Inside Pass on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and visit theinsidepasslive.com. The opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, affiliates, or marketing partners of the Inside Pass. No part of this show may be reproduced in any manner without the expressed written consent of the Inside Pass. Thank you for listening.